Cool. So hi guys, this is Chris from DoraHacks. Today we are very happy and honored to have Ontology Team with us, introducing about the Ontology Hackathon and also some vision, technology, and ecosystem about the whole Ontology blockchain. So firstly, please allow me to briefly introduce about the hackathon background. You may not know this, but this is actually the first time that Dora hacks to support the ontology on their own ontology-centric hackathon, which means that the voters and users could use the ONG token as the voting tool to support the great projects that emerged from the ontology ecosystems. We are really looking forward to see there will be some great projects to emerge through this hackathon. Yeah. So without further ado, let's welcome LiJun, who is the founder of the Ontology, to talking a little bit more about the vision and technology about the Ontology. And we are also very honored to have the Humpty, which is the head of the community of the Ontology. Yeah, Jun, feel free to start when you're ready.
Okay. Yeah. Hi, guys. It's a pleasure to be here online to talk about ontology. We work with DoraHack with a hackathon for ontology, the platform. So I will quickly brief the ontology, our background, vision, and the new functionality for you. And ontology is actually, just to mention, is trust redefined. That is, we are launched Ontology project 5 years ago. Actually, from day one, we never changed our the white paper. I mean the vision white paper. From day one, want to build a decentralized infrastructure for Web3. That is difference. What is difference with the public blockchain? From our point of view, the different blockchain, public blockchain, they should have the different public ledger to support different information in decentralized world. Like digital assets is kind of information, and just because today, blockchain industry most application or scenario is focused on the digital assets, like DeFi, digital assets, NFT, exchange, etc. So almost we only have one kind of information, it is token or digital assets information. But we will figure out more and more, we will find more and more application, different scenario is coming. And like the identity and the personal data, reputation, or the more information, you need to be management in public blockchain as a public ledger. So ontology is more focused on, except for the digital assets, we more focus on the identity, data, reputation, credit score, all those kind of public information for Web3. So that means if you want to support more kinds of information, you need different performance, mechanism, architecture, and the technical modules to support that. So that is why we will set our vision as a Web3 infrastructure. So the Web3 is a whole picture for ontology, includes the several parts for Web3, include the public blockchain, and also include the protocols for Web3, decentralized protocol for the based on the public blockchain, like the decentralized identity protocol, ONTID, and the decentralized data protocol, reputation protocol, and even decentralized credit score. And we will still do a more infrastructure or fundamental protocol for Web3. That means the most dApps, they needn't rebuild those fundamental or infrastructure protocol again in depth, just focus on their business logic. And also, we also build some fundamental tools for Web3, like Ontology Wallet. They support the users can manage all kinds of information by themselves, digital assets, identity, personal data, and the credit score, and more. Also include NFT or other kind of different assets and dApps. Also can do swap as well, can do exchange as well. So that is all its fundamental tools, protocols, and blockchains. They can support the developer team to easily to build the Web3, the new Web3 dApps for new scenarios. They needn't to care about the infrastructure level or build the infrastructure or fundamental protocols by themselves. So today I just want to highlight two important new functionality based on Ontology Blockchain, and maybe will help you to build your dApps or move your dApps more easily based on Ontology Blockchain. Yeah. First is blockchain. Our in the smart contract level, Ontology is one of the most VM supported blockchain, the virtual machine. We support is we are the one of most virtual machine based blockchain. You almost can use different kind of language, program language, to build smart contract on Ontology blockchain. And also I will introduce OntID. OntID is a protocol, the fundamental protocol to support in multiple the decentralized identity framework that can support multiple chains, and to integrate it with your dApps easily. You can use decentralized identity in your dApps or different products. Okay, first part is about the virtual machine. I guess people, most developers is very familiar with the EVM and Solidity, right? Especially Ethereum EVM. So actually also other kind of like the Watson VM also is quite popular in some scenarios. Ontology have more kinds of the virtual machine right now. We included the EVM, that is we just launched in this year, and you can easily move your dApps on Ethereum to Ontology and without any additional efforts. And also, we already support Watson VM, and you can use Python or the other kind of mainstream program language to build smart contract. Also, we have the Neo VM and native VM virtual machine based on Ontology blockchain. Yeah, based on those all kinds of VM, you will find, okay, you already can use all kinds of mainstream program language to build a smart contract on Ontology, just like the Python, C#, Rust, C++, and also include the Solidity as well. So also we have a lot of strong native smart contracts on blockchain. We have embedded to those kind of smart contracts in blockchain as well. So based on this infrastructure and the architecture, you almost can build all kinds of smart contracts for that. Why we need so many kinds of smart contracts mechanism on one blockchain? Because beside the, just I mentioned, beside the digital assets application, in Web3 scenarios, based on Web3 scenarios, more kinds of business logic will come in. And we'll have more different programmer. They will move their private logic or private application to blockchain. They maybe is some programmer is based on the C#, C++, Rust, or even Python. They can easily use different logic modules integrated to blockchain as well. Of course, if you are based on the like the Solidity EVM, you also can easily move to that. So currently, that is good news. Is Ontology almost supports all kinds of smart contracts. So what kind of a smart contract technology you are familiar with, you can very easily build your smart contract and the dApps on Ontology. So the VM you will find, okay, all EVM based on Ontology is integrated in Ontology blockchain. You can easily issue different assets, and also on Ontology. Also, the interactions between all kinds of VM smart contracts can easily do that. You can build the Watson VM and to also build a Solidity-based VM, and also you can do the communication between virtual machine. So you can build some kind of in the future, you can build some dApps. Maybe the dApps include many different kind of functionalities. The part one you can build on the solidity based on solidity, and the part two based on the WASM, and also you can integrate them as one dApps to private service for users. So it's quite flexible. It's depend on your different scenarios. You can easily support different VM. Okay, why we launched Ontology VM, I think is quite simple. And, currently the most dApps is based on the EVM Ethereum. That means you can easily you needn't to rewrite your dApps. You can just move for the already deploy the dApps codes on Ontology VM easily you can launch your platform and your dApps in different platforms in the same time, like the Ethereum version, Ontology version, and even more. As I believe most blockchain already support EVM today, and you can move those kind of dApps very easy to do that. And also, if we supported the EVM, that means you easily can use Ontology other infrastructure and protocols very easily. For example, different with compare with other blockchain, Ontology also private a lot of fundamental protocols, except for the public blockchain. Also includes a lot of protocols or the APIs modules like the decentralized identity, decentralized data, and more APIs. And before, if you're based on the other blockchain, you need to rebuild those kind of fundamental protocol by yourself. If you want to use identity, you want to use personal data, reputation, or credit score, you will build this kind of module by yourself in your dApps. But all those kind of module functionality just kind of the fundamental functionality or features. We think most developer teams, they needn't to rebuild that again, right? They can just use some fundamental infrastructure service. So, but in before, Ontology is not, in the past, Ontology have not supported EVM. So a lot of teams, they build the EVM dApps and the smart contract, but they cannot directly integrate it with Ontology protocols. So once we have the supported EVM, all those kind of fundamental protocols already can be integrated to your dApps very easily. So all those we are waiting. We are very glad we have support all kinds of dApps, and welcome move to your develop a new Web3 application based on that. So, and yeah, a lot of tools you can use to build the VM. Of course, EVM, right? Today already have most tools already support EVM. You can use a lot of modules and develop a framework to do that. And also wallet, Ontoo is our wallet. They can manage all kinds of digital assets, identity, and supports all the fundamental or infrastructure protocols. And also MetaMask also supports that. On the EVM, you can easily use MetaMask to do that. That means all the user experience is same with before. It's easy to use. Okay, almost all we already almost can integrated all kinds of EVM-based tools or some the modules or plugins. Okay, so and the most important things for the EVM-based apps and for developers, and you can say, okay, you can use EVM address directly, the same format to do that. And you can just, if you want to move different assets from this VM to a new EVM, you can just use our native bridge to do that. And unlike the other kind of cross-chain bridge, the bridge is native to the developed by in the Ontology blockchain. So the security and decentralized level is based on Ontology public blockchain. So it's quite safe for change or for the exchange the assets between different VMs. So, and also you can support the JSON-based APIs, and you can easily to use all kinds of API to integrate your your dApps. Okay, that is part one. Is just a brief the EVM and the other kind of VM. The highlight is we supports all kinds of virtual machine. You can build smart contract on Ontology, use all kinds of program language, and especially if you build some business Web3 scenarios with complex logic. So the multiple VM maybe will help you, because maybe some complex process or logic need a different kind of program language or EVM or virtual machine mechanism to support that. In Ontology, based on Ontology, you can have the most option to do the most and more scenarios in depth. Okay, so part two, I want to just highlight the second part is about the protocols. You know, the public blockchain, they as a public ledger, they can do the, for example, the manage your information, your token, and also you can build a smart contract on that. But based on that, we still figure out in Web3 scenario, Web3 dApps, they still have several fundamental protocols as well. For example, they include the identity, decentralized data, reputation, credit score, and maybe the personal data management in next phase. So we think all those kind of protocols is kind of fundamental functionality for almost all kinds of Web3 dApps. So we think those kind of protocol, they shouldn't be rebuilt again and again by the different steps. They should be a kind of fundamental or infrastructure protocols. So I just want to highlight one of those kind of protocols is called Decentralized Identity Framework. The name is OntID. You can find more information in the protocol website, ont.id. And this is a decentralized identity framework. You can easily use that to manage for your end user to manage their identity. Based on, of course, we follow the WCC, the identity, the DID protocols, and the standards. We're also the member of the WCC, the DID members. So the user can manage all kinds of on-chain or off-chain information, personal data, identity, and the verification by themselves based on the blockchain. And that is the decentralized identity framework to do that. So that means identity framework, OntID, can support different kinds of end users or the participants. For example, the individual users, they can use decentralized identity to manage their information on blockchain. Not only digital assets, also includes identity and all kinds of decentralized information for themselves. And besides that, they also can integrate it their off-chain or other kind of centralized information from Web 2, the traditional internet world. They also can link their data to Web3 application as well. They can integrate it, centralized or decentralized information or data based on the DID protocols. And also developers, they needed to build again and again, because for Web3 application or scenario, many scenarios, they need to have the identity management or some verification functionality. And also, they also need to manage the data, the end user's data. We already found some dApps, they have to build those kind of fundamental protocol by themselves as one of their parts of their functionalities. But it's not necessary. In next phase, you can just use fundamental ontology the protocols directly, and you just focus on your real business logic. The identity or other data management, we will handle that for you. Yeah, that is OntID 4. So currently, OntID is a protocol. You can say, okay, this is more like a framework or architecture. This still include a lot of products in OntID protocols. For example, we have the ID SDK. You can just use SDK to integrate it to your dApps or application. And also we have the VC. VC is verifiable credential SDK. That is, can be verified. This is kind of message or information can be verified or by the based on the blockchain, and and the user can reuse those kind of credential on blockchain. So that also have the SDK for that. And we also have the communication ontologging and the tag. Tag is a trust uncle for that. So just I mentioned, ID SDK, you can integrate the ID to your dApps, and there's a verifiable credential also can manage to the credential for your end users and the manager. Also, I want to highlight one thing: the ID is not only for, the individual, personal users. Also, like a DAO, DAO, or other kind of organization, also they also can manage its ID, right? They also kind of organization ID, and also can use the DID framework to manage that. And Macri is kind of the communication framework. They can easily to integrate it or do the communication with between different DID protocols. That means you can, for example, you can manage the DID based on the Ethereum as a ledger and as a public ledger, and also use Ontology to manage your another kind of account. And you can integrate it all those kind account to do the communication, to do the interaction for the identity information between Ethereum and the Ontology, and even more kinds of DID and the basic framework. So that is a communication framework to do that. That means DID is not only in kinds of, okay, one public ledger to manage all IDs. You can register all your ID in different blockchain and use protocol or tools or products to link them together. Okay, login, and that is maybe in future is most useful, and in most dApps or other kind of products, you can just integrate it, decentralized identity like the ONTID login, and to your dApps, to your mobile application, and people can just log in with the ID, and you can just verify and easily to finish login modules. So it's under more than that, it's a decentralized login module. Decentralized means no one touch personal data or privacy, and the user manage all those kind of information by themselves. So that is Web3 login, right? Okay, tag is trust uncle gateway. We already integrated a lot of very good trust uncles. They can do the KYC globally, and also can private all kinds of verification service for end users. And you can just integrate it with ONT tag, and just invoke our API to just verify the end user's information. You needn't to link one by one by yourselves. That is easy. In the future, we will integrate it more and more verification private to support different scenario requirements. If you need to have any kind of specific KYC or verification, user verification service or information verification service, just let us know. We will integrate more and to support more kind of scenario to do that. Okay, that is very quick, brief, and Ontology have a lot of modules, just mentioned, multiple virtual machine, and also include the, just want to We're also doing the layer 2 as well for ontology, and also layer 2 can support Ethereum as well. Maybe we will launch in this year as well. And ontology already include a lot of modules and the protocols. Today, I just highlight 2 new protocols and just let you know new functionality. And welcome all the developers team and based on ontology to build a Web3 application. You can keep up with ontology with all the social accounts and the information. And finally, I want to highlight what kind of things we can support for developers. The first, of course, technical support, not only based on the currently the infrastructure functionality, also include all kinds of customization service. If you have some specific the requirements for infrastructure to support your Web3 application, just let us know. We are waiting to develop the customized information or feature and or functionality for you. And if you need any technical support, also can let us know. We will support that. And besides that, also the 2 we also can support with funding, with marketing, with ecosystem cooperation to support your new idea or new product to easily launch and touch the users. And just like also we also have the large community as well, and we're willing to help all the great dApps, great products to community to support your be successful in Web3 application. So okay, this is my brief, and yeah, like host. Hello, Chris.
Yeah, thank you very much, Jun. And we're gonna invite Humpty to do the introduction about the ontologist ecosystems.
Hi, yeah, thank you. Well, I actually think LiJun did an amazing job here at introducing the ontology ecosystem. But I'm happy to also share my screen and go through a different presentation that kind of goes through some of what we've already discussed, and hopefully this, if anybody still had any questions, can help them understand what ontology has built and continues to build a little bit more completely. So, in terms of ontology, as LiJun mentioned, it has primarily a blockchain, and there's quite a few things here that are worth noting about the ontology blockchain. I think it is pretty we may be familiar with some of the terms of fast and cheap, and I think a lot of these things really are thrown around a little bit when we're talking about blockchains. But with ontology, there is a very clear differentiation in terms of how we achieve this at the algorithmic level, at the consensus level, being able to be efficient in terms of how we reach finality with our transactions here at Ontology. So I think worth noting, if anybody's building and they want to build on a blockchain that is proven for a few years now, it is worth exploring kind of some of these unique applications of blockchain technology at Ontology. The other thing that LiJun mentioned here was OntID. A DID for the last couple of years, especially I would say for the last couple of months, is an emergent topic. I think as we started to start to use blockchain technology, we become familiar with Web3 wallets and having that be our digital identities. But there's certainly a lot more that can be explored there, and Ontology has been, for the last couple of years, been building the technology around DID. Like LiJun mentioned, Ontology is part of the W3C and has implemented a standard, the W3C standard, for its implementation of it, and that is OntID. So for me, I really am excited to see the opportunities open up here in terms of digital identity, decentralized identity specifically. when it comes to the developers, especially those that are taking part in the hackathon. I think that there's a lot of opportunity here for people to explore how they can potentially apply this, be it to, just something as simple as maybe a login methodology or method onto applications, Web3 applications, where you're logging in with your OntID versus logging in with your Web3 wallet, for instance. There's a lot of value in doing something like that, of which I'm happy to jump into and describe a little bit in detail. But really trying to, at least here in this example, show kind of some of the evolution of identity, and how blockchain has enabled a new way to own and manage our identities, and Ontology continues to push that. So I think many of us may be familiar with logging in with some sort of centralized institution identity, whether it's Facebook, Google, or whatever, wherever else you are in the world, you log in with those types of identities. And so, when you do that, obviously you're logging in with that identity, you're relinquishing control to that identity because you don't necessarily own it. And all the data that is being created on the back end from that, you have no control either. You are not able to manage that. So, with Web3, with blockchains, you're able to own that identity through your Web3 wallets, but it's still quite limited in terms of being able to manage that identity, the data, and being able to leverage that identity to open up new opportunities. With DID and Ontology's implementation OntID, you're able to own that identity a little more fully. And I only explain this hopefully so that anybody who's listening who may be trying to think about ways that they can start hacking away today at using some of the technology that Ontology opens up for developers, this is probably one clear differentiation between what Ontology is doing and maybe some other blockchains and some other projects as well. So you're able to, for instance, log in with your OntID. I can imagine a developer being able to create some sort of portal where you are able to view and manage that identity and the types of interactions that you have with that, using what's called verifiable credentials, being able to prove provably verify, your interactions on the blockchain, build reputation from that, open up new opportunities such as under collateralized markets. If you're using DeFi, for instance, within Ontology, we're exploring the decentralization of some of our own initiatives, like the Harbinger program, looking at that, how DAOs potentially work, building reputation based on your activity. So, for anybody in the audience who's, thinking about how can I get started? Well, I would say definitely reading the Ontology or OntID documentation is a great start, so that you can understand clearly what Ontology has been building. And for me, one of the clear value propositions to building on Ontology is the fact that you can build with these emergent technologies. Wallet is another, I think, a great example of that in terms of the emergence of the way that it's being developed. I regularly talk to builders in this space who are building in the space of decentralized identity as well. And the one thing that is a common thread is we don't have a good identity wallet yet. In fact, I don't think that anybody aside from Ontology has built an identity wallet, one that is clearly built around the use case of owning and managing your identity in the Web3 space. So I think Wallet is another wonderful example of a product that has been built by Ontology that, again, is driven by a core mission, our core values in this space. And so certainly one of those that has a lot of exciting opportunities for anybody who wants to start building on Ontology. Let me move to the next screen here. Wing Finance and Saga, I think, are two protocols that we didn't necessarily cover too much during the conversation with LiJun, but certainly Wing Finance is interesting in its, it's a credit-based lending platform that's built on Ontology, but also has been deployed across various blockchains, such as Ethereum and OKX chain. So, it's one of those protocols that leverages, again, your digital identity, that leverages your reputation to be able to open up under collateralized markets. So again, many opportunities here to kind of build on top of that identity stack that Ontology has been building for several years now. Saga being a marketplace where you can manage and even monetize your data. I would say that this is probably one of the cooler implementations that I would personally like to see tapped into a little bit more. Obviously, with the kind of focus that Ontology has on continuing to build bridges with developers across various ecosystems with the launch of EVM, I think that there's a lot of opportunity for anyone that's interested to be able to tap into a lot of this technology and the bridges that Ontology has built to be able to continue developing this type of emergent technology. In terms of the team, I think that you definitely can find this on the website, but LiJun, Gloria, Dr. Mao, Ninghu, there's the leadership here has been building on Ontology consistently for several years. And like I said, there's a determination of focus at Ontology that I think is rare in this space. In a space that definitely promotes the ability to grow in different applications, to experiment, but definitely very few that can do so with the type of consistency I think that Ontology has done. So I would say for me, those things, if anyone's interested in learning more about Ontology, would be, or any blockchain or any project, I would say in the Web3 space, would be things that I would look at, is the proficiency, the level of sustainability and delivering consistently over time. I think those are very interesting and unique to Ontology and very few others. So in terms of the roadmap here, Ontology has been building, like I said, for several years since its launch, with its core beliefs and mission, has been building that technology, starting with the blockchain, and then continuing on with, decentralized identity and everything that is involved with that. Not just, your decentralized identifiers, right, which is OntID, but also the technology that supports the verification of your identity, right, using either social identities such as your social media accounts, which, for all intents and purposes is proof of work, or you're, using some sort of hard KYC if necessary, depending on the application. And then, of course, like I mentioned, Ont login, which allows for individuals to be able to log in a decentralized fashion and own that that identity and that data. Here are some really interesting implementations of or applications of the Ontology identity technology. Rocky, a good partner, they're building on Binance Smart Chain. So one of the really wonderful things and interesting things about DID is that very different from the way that your traditional key pairs work for wallet management, your Web3 wallets, is that it actually is portable and it works across a variety of blockchains and platforms, not just blockchains, to be fair. So Ontology has deployed this technology, not just on Ontology, not just on Ethereum, but on Binance Smart Chain and many other blockchains as well. And this really kind of opens up the opportunity, I think, for anybody who's building in this space that wants to create some sort of interoperability, portability of their identities, of that data. For instance, I think is really interesting in the way that they're able to do that, the way that OntID can unlock that and open that up. So with Rocky, they've been using Ontology's DID to be able to verify their users. So basically here, the creators, because they're working with music NFTs. And so in order to bring authenticity to the space, they're using OntID as a way to secure their platform and keep out individuals who are pretending to be someone for the sake of monetizing someone else's intellectual property. And so they're able to verify their identities and prove that they are the identity who they claim to be, in this instance, using social verification as proof of work. And so, yeah, you can kind of see how there's a potential here beyond just, blockchain and beyond just, I should say, like DeFi and maybe some of these more clear implementations of DID, music NFTs, which themselves are an emergent technology, can benefit from using the Ontology DID. Another really interesting application of it was an MVP that was created alongside with Daimler Mobility. For anybody who's not familiar with who that is, they are one of the largest automotive groups in the world. They have like Mercedes-Benz within their portfolio, for instance. And so with Ontology, they created this app called Welcome Home, which allows for the customized user experiences within the automotive, within your automobile, excuse me. And so, this is something that they imagined would be useful, not just for, an individual who has a one car, but imagine having a fleet of cars if you're a business. Or if you are a rental company and you're able to then make sure that users are able to log in and customize things based on their own personal, the way that they want to customize that experience. This has actually interestingly continued to evolve. There's another company called Bloxmove with which Ontology has a partnership as well. And they are continuing to move forward this idea, but beyond just like the custom vehicle experience, and actually looking at what if we were to be able to leverage our identities to log into mobility applications everywhere. So your airline, your rent a car, your car sharing, anything where you would need to create a new account and use that account to request these services, right? Again, because anytime that you do this, you are relinquishing control of that identity and all that data behind it, the institutions behind that, whether it's an Uber, whether it's a United Airlines, whatever it is, they have ownership and control of this data, and they can monetize that. They can do whatever they want with it. They can create profiles from you from it, which if you're relinquishing control, that's kind of what you expect. But what Bloxmove with OntID is intending to do is giving that ownership of that identity, giving that ownership of that data back to the user, back to the person who's using these products, and then allowing them, then in this case, once they own and manage this data, to be able to potentially monetize it as well, which I think is a very interesting future for the way that we interact, with the web. So in terms of our community, being head of community, my role is to make sure that anyone who is coming into the Ontology ecosystem feels welcome, that there is not just a home for you, but there's definitely a place for you to be able to carve your niche and build on Ontology. And so we do have quite an extensive community across the globe, across various communications platforms. On Reddit, on Telegram, on Discord, which is usually where I'm at. I'm a bit of a bigger fan of Discord personally, and really helping you explore the way that you can potentially use the Ontology blockchain to build. And so I would encourage anyone who's listening today on YouTube or wherever you're streaming this to connect with us. ONT.io. Certainly, there are all of our social links there. Either join us on Telegram, join us on Discord, join us on Reddit. Happy to connect with you and talk more about the Ontology ecosystem.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you very much, Humpty, for all the details, introduction, and explanation. I think so far the whole session is super helpful for audience to understand better about the ontology. Yeah, and we can right now jump into the Q&A part. There are already lots of good questions from the community. Yeah, the first one is, can you tell us a bit more about the options available around the community initiatives? For example, can you help Web3 projects to engage with the ontology community?
Yeah, I'm happy to take this. So, currently, I guess I'll start really high level and then I'll try to get, a little bit more nuanced with my answer. But really high level, Ontology currently has this hackathon, right? So that's like a clear way that we're opening up a bridge to, the developers wherever they are to be able to connect with us and build with us. So through hackathons like this, through an EVM fund that we announced earlier this month, or late last month, I should say, when the EVM was launched, we're really trying to identify these key partners from the community to be able to build with us, to onboard them, through a variety of platforms, to be able to help them build with Ontology, not just financially, but also to help them build a business, right? Because I think that's another thing that I find really interesting in this space, that a lot of hackers can build, and surprisingly can build really well, really fast. But it's very difficult to build a business model to your product. And I think Ontology has a wealth of experience in building businesses. And so we want to make sure that we can identify these key builders and make partners from them or out of them, and then be able to support them in the development of this business through marketing support, and just tokenomics if necessary, right? Because that's really what we're here to do. We're trying to build out a community of partners. And then, like I said, there's a way for us to be able to then promote them and give them a platform, a pretty wide and substantial platform that Ontology has built over time.
Cool. Yeah. Jing, you have something to add about it, or we can move to the next.
Yeah, that is just the way I mentioned in my the introduction. Is we also have the Web3 project to engage our community, and also we have the Onto Wallet have a lot of large users group right now as well, and also we will integrate all the new great idea or Web3 application with our ecosystem as well, and we can support to their marketing and ecosystem, and also long-term technology support as well. Yeah.
Got it. Cool. Yeah. And the second question is going to be, does Ontology have a clear vision with regards to supporting projects from the long-term development of Web3 projects?
Okay, let me for this question. And yes, we have clear vision. Just as I mentioned, from day one, 5 years ago, our vision is Web3 infrastructure. So Web3 infrastructure not only is public blockchain, include a lot of protocols, a lot of fundamental tools like the Web3 wallet, etc. For long term, the difference with digital assets-based application. Today's most application dApps is digital asset-based. For example, the exchange or DeFi, and of course we found some like new Web3 scenario or dApps coming, but difference with Web3 application with traditional digital asset-based application is they need a lot of new fundamental level protocol supporting. Like when you do the Web3, for example, social network, decentralized social network, that is quite difficult in the long-term development. You need identity. You need sometimes you need reputation. You need behavior tracking. You need some credit score. You need a different group. You need a DAO. So you will find, okay, when my dApp interact with end user, I need a lot of fundamental protocol to support that. But today, if I based on the public blockchain, most protocols still not existing, or is built by the other third party is difficult to use, and they will not follow my progress, right? When I want to use this protocol, they're not ready. When I fix some bugs, they cannot fix very quickly. Ontology can confirm one thing is if you use good Web3 dApps, once you find you need any kind of infrastructure level functionality, we are willing to provide supporting. Some functionality already exists today in Ontology infrastructure, but if you have any customized requirements, we also were willing to support that in long term. Our core team, our community development team, will support those parts as well. All the Ontology funding and the foundation is will support those kind of supporting in long term. So based on Ontology build the Web3, you have needn't to worry about, okay, long term I need more functionality can the blockchain can support in long term. We will do the technical support in long term for the all kinds of Web3 application. Definitely, yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Humpty, you have something to add, or we can move to the next question?
No, we can move on to the next question.
Great. So the next question is going to be, what technical support is available for people building with Ontology? I think Jane just covered part of it, and partially with regards to integrating with products obtained in ONTID.
Okay. Yeah, ONTID just in my introduction already said ONTID can integrate it to your dApps or the products in different approaches like the ID SDK API or even plugin. Also, you can just integrate it with our wallet, plugin wallet, onto wallet, mobile application, plugin application. So many ways you can do it. Once you find, okay, if you have any kind of specific requirements you mentioned for the decentralized identity in your dApps, in your scenarios, just let us know. We will build those kind of fundamental functionality for you as well. So please feel free to try integrate it with OntID as a decentralized identity in your Web3 dApps. If you need any new support, just let us know. We will do that very quickly.
Yeah, I would add, I think Ontology is one of those few projects that has experts at almost every level. The space of decentralized identity is a very obscure one. I've been, since joining Ontology, been learning more and more everything that I can about decentralized identity. And while there's a lot of new projects, or a few more new projects, I should say, be clear about that, that are building in this space, I think a lot of the projects that are coming into the space are really, they're enamored with the idea of the possibility of what it can open up, but they don't understand the complexities of the technology to the level that a project like Ontology has been able to gain that understanding based on their development of the technology for as long as Ontology has been building it, but also because it's been in the room where a lot of these discussions are being held to develop these standards. So for anyone who's interested in building with this technology, with this emergent technology, to be able to connect with the wealth of knowledge that exists at Ontology is a unique experience, I think. And certainly, if this is at all interesting to you, this would be the best opportunity to be able to understand it at a level that maybe you wouldn't be able to anywhere else.
Yeah. And the next question going to be, ONTID has collections of products within it. Can you tell us how they relate to the Web3 projects?
Okay, you can see the OntID I mentioned have different products modules. For the Web3 project, if you are web-based Web3 project or mobile-based, you can just integrate it with OntID SDK, and you can already have the DID functionality as well. And also, you can use integrated the OntID to your mobile wallet. Your wallet also can based on that to manage your decentralized identity for your wallet and the users. If you are a community or DAO, you can use the OntID and include a reputation protocol. We have a new reputation protocol, decentralized reputation protocol called Orange protocol. As you can use manager for whitelist for some specific verification for your users to build a different kind of community, different kind of group very easily. And also you can use OntID with OScore to track the users' score, different kind of score information, credit score or some behavior score, etc. So you have a lot of ways to do, a lot of approach to use decentralized identity. Just like the traditional internet application today, you also can move those kind of scenario as a decentralized way. So OntID can support almost all kinds of those kind of decentralized identity scenarios. If you figure out any new kinds of scenario based on decentralized identity have not been supported by OntID protocol, let us know. We will add that, just mentioned. We will add that as soon as possible.
Got it. Yeah, and we have the last questions for today. So how easy is it for new projects to build on ontology to integrate into the ontology wallet to get access to the users on the platform?
Okay, onto wallet, they we call it new generation wallet. Why it's new is not only manage the digital assets, also manage all kinds of data in decentralized wallet, identity, personal data, score, or even other kind of behavioral information. And if you're debt, you can easily just they can just integrate it onto very quickly. It's just link and to the dApps. They automatically links. You needn't any additional efforts for development. And also, if you want to integrate onto wallets as your login wallet, and also it's quite easy. They have API. You just scan. We also support the Wallet Connect protocol as well. You can just integrate it and use OntID mobile application or OntID the web plugin to integrate to your dApps. And all users can use Onto Wallet to log into your dApps. The difference with other wallet, the Onto Wallet can help your end user to manage their own identity, digital assets, and other kind of more decentralized information in same time. They can support more scenario based on Web3 logic. Yeah.
Yep. Humpty, any adding, or we good for now?
No, I mean, I guess, obviously LiJun covered it extremely well here, but, I would say to anyone it sounds like people are really interested and curious, I think that these are some applications like Onto that provide a very novel, development experience because of the types of technologies that are built within it. Like what LiJun said, this is not simply a wallet for managing digital assets across multiple blockchains, right? I think that we have seen that type of wallet experience for some time now, and maybe become accustomed to that type of experience. But really, this is about opening up new opportunities for the Web3 community in terms of the way that they interact with blockchain, in terms of the way that they can own the ownership of Web3, going beyond the pure monetary aspect of it and starting to tap into this, self-sovereign nature that is blockchain in terms of our identities and data. So yeah, if anybody is interested, those are definitely some of the more unique and interesting spaces, I would say, that are currently emerging in blockchain right now. And, Ontology is happy to facilitate the onboarding of those developers and development on those applications.
Cool. Yeah, thank you very much again, Jing and Humpty, for answering all the questions, and also appreciate all the audience about the engagement and asking those high quality questions. I believe this whole session is super helpful for users and audience to understand about understand more deeply about the ontology, and also it definitely answered part of the technical questions for devs who want to grow the dApps and projects in the ontology ecosystems. Yeah, so appreciate the Jing and Humpty time again, and also appreciate all the audience about the participation. I I think in 15 minutes we're gonna have another ontology workshop in Chinese. So if you want to participate in that workshop, please feel free to do that. And also, if you haven't followed us on YouTube, please feel free to do that, so you won't miss out any of the events like today's. Yeah. So I guess that's it for today. Thank you very much. Hope you guys all doing great and build up, the next superstar products in the ontology ecosystems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Chris. Okay.